Hello. Today I'm going to give you a little example of my own narration. We'll be using this story right here. The Story of Manhattan by Charles Hemstreet. Chapter 1. The Adventures of Henry Hudson. The long and narrow island of Manhattan was a wild and beautiful spot in the year 1609. In this year, a little ship sailed up the bay below the island, took the river to the west, and went on. In these days there were no tall houses with white walls glistening in the sunlight, no church spires, no noisy hum of running trains, no smoke to blot out the blue sky. None of these things. But in their place were beautiful trees with spreading branches, stretches of sandhills, and green patches of grass. In the branches of trees were birds of varied colors, and wandering through the tangled undergrowth were many wild animals. The people of the island were men and women whose skins were quite red, strong and healthy people who clothed themselves in the furs of animals and made their houses of the trees and vines. In this year of 1609, the people gathered on the shore of their island and looked with wonder at the boat, so different from any they had ever seen, as it was swept before the wind up the river. The ship was called the Half Moon, and it had come all the way from Amsterdam in the Dutch Netherlands. Little misleeper there. And it had come all the way from Amsterdam in the Dutch Netherlands. The Netherlands was quite a small country in the northern part of Europe, not nearly as large as the state of New York, and was usually called Holland, as Holland was the most important of its several states. But the Dutch owned other lands than these. They had islands in the Indian Ocean that were rich in spices of every sort, and the other European countries needed these spices. These islands, being quite close to India, were called the East Indies, and the company of Dutch merchants who did most of the business with them was called the East India Company. They had many ships, and the Half Moon was one of them. Thanks very much. I'll be back next week with another one.